Hello beautiful souls and welcome to my channel. Welcome back to those of you who are returning to another pick a card reading. This one is inspired by one of you. One of you commented, I think under my community posts, that you wanted the messages from Lemuria type of reading. So here it is, I'm delivering. I just really resonated with this topic. I thought it's gonna be really fun to do. So in this reading, what can you expect? I will ask, what do you need to know from the Lemurians that are working with you? Why are they working with you, etc. So whatever messages come through, they can affect any topic of your life, just whatever really you need to know. It's kind of like reading your energy along with your Lemurian guides. And I have reserved questions such as, have you had incarnations? What kinds of incarnations? What connection do you have to Lemuria? For an extended portion that each of these 4 groups will have. And you will find the extended reading right underneath the timestamp for your group. Okay, so I think that's it. So let me introduce you to the 4 crystals that we have here. Not really crystals, just gems, stones, and crystals. So first we have this one for group number 1. It's a beautiful blue color. It has a little bit of gray, some white dots. Okay, now this is group number 1. For group number 1, I don't know why, but right now I was just hearing a lot of like number 2. So if you've been getting this synchronicity, if you've been seeing this number, if you resonate with it for some reason, that is your group. Maybe you thought it's group 2, but actually it's group 1. So for group 2, we have this stone that is really, really pretty and shiny. It's literally a cube with a little, it's not really a pyramid, it's not a prism either. I'm not sure what this particular shape is called, but you can see how it has 2 sides and then 2 more sides. So if you resonate with this geometric structure, this is gonna be your group. For group number 3, I have this gorgeous, you've seen this before on my channel, I'm sure, this gorgeous crystal that has a really interesting aura. It always makes me think of a cloud, this crystal, and it makes me think of, it's iridescent, so it makes me think of like mermaid scales, it makes me think of unicorns, it makes me think of like fantastical creatures, honestly. And for group number 4, we have this smoky, I'm not sure if this is glass or like really well polished smoky crystal, like smoky quartz, but it's just so beautiful. It's see-through. Alright, so if you resonate with this one, you are meant for group number 4. Now you can find all the timestamps for all groups at the end of my description box or in a pinned comment in the comment section below. Take your time, pause the video, meditate upon the crystals or upon the numbers of the groups, and I'll see you there once you've made your choice. Hello Lemurian star child, welcome to your reading. So I'm gonna put this aside and I'm going to start pulling cards for you. I've been loving working with this deck lately. So this is the Crystal Spirit Oracle. So let's see, what do you need to know from your Lemurian guides? When I ask this question, I kind of have in mind what's going on with your energy, what's going on around you, in the energy surrounding you, what are you attracting to yourself, to your life. That's kind of where I'm headed when I'm asking, what do you need to know? But of course, I'm always open to any other message that wants to come through. Now, this is interesting. Remember how I told you in the selection portion of the video that I was getting number 2 for your group, which maybe many of you thought you're gonna go with group number 2, but now you know that you should come here. With this number, for some reason, I'm hearing 2 birds. And of course, number 2 is about connection, soulmates, collaboration. 2 birds can symbolize literally like lovebirds, so definitely it can be about the romantic relationship, the messages that will be coming through. But 2 birds with 1 stone is also like a phrase that's coming to mind. So maybe you're juggling 2 things right now. Maybe you're not jiggling, you're juggling, okay? You're juggling 2 things right now. Maybe you were torn between 2 paths, 2 people, or you will receive messages with the birds that I had in mind, in my vision. You will receive messages from 2 different places, countries, people, and these messages is almost like you have to pick one or the other. You have to answer to one or the other. You can't answer to both. And this stone, for some reason, when I was looking at it, when I was like preparing the 4 of them, I was trying to decide which way to turn it so you can see more of the blue, because it's such a beautiful blue. But it kind of falls almost flat if I put it on this side, and it reminded me of like the shape of a foot, and for some reason like the foot of a bird. It reminded me specifically of like birds that spend a lot of time swimming, and you know how their feet have like this kind of shape. I'm not sure how to describe it. It's kind of like a fin kind of shape, but it's a bird's foot. So I know that's very, very specific and random, but again, I'm thinking of a couple of things. Feet of different animals used to be used as charms, and I'm sure that they still are in certain cultures and certain places where these traditions are kept, but these used to be charms for protection, for luck, things of that nature. Of course, with the feet, with the foot shape, I'm thinking like you're leaving your imprint this year, and it's very important which path you will walk, because you're going to leave an imprint there. And another thing, a bird that is swimming, what I'm getting as a message here is that yes, you are good at 2 things. You're good at swimming, but you're also good at flying, but there is one element that is your element, and this year it seems like you'll have to decide. And for some of you, this is a little counterintuitive, but for some of you, what I'm getting is, okay, you're a bird, right? You're supposed to fly, you have wings, why wouldn't you fly? But it's like the most natural thing to think. It's the most obvious thing to believe, that you're supposed to fly, that you're supposed to be in that specific area because you were made to be in that specific area. But some of you have either inherited, like from your ancestors, some other skill that puts you in a completely different area or a slightly different area, or you have been working yourselves like on something that you weren't naturally good at, but you worked so hard because you loved it so much that now you're so good at it. And it's like, do you go into that field where you're a natural, you've always been praised, etc., or do you go after the thing that you love? And these 2 things may be different for most of you. So that's also something I'm getting here with this crystal for you guys, that you will be dealing with, like, and what I'm getting is, for some of you, you will be birds that were meant to be swimmers. You will be the type of people who, well, they, group 1, they were born in a family of doctors or architects or whatever, and then they became a musician, or they became a street artist, or they became a traveler and a photographer and whatever, something completely different from what it was. Almost like you were carved to be this other thing, and you became something completely different. And that's because I see many of you will actually find yourselves outside of what feels obvious and almost like the intuitive decision, but is it really the intuitive decision, or is it just the obvious thing that you were made to believe throughout your life about yourself? So those are some messages that some of you may resonate with. These are like little things I wanted to sprinkle before we get into the reading. I don't know if these things will connect to what comes through the cards, but I just wanted to mention them. Now let's get into it. What do the Lemurians want to tell you? What do they want to communicate with you? Wow, you have Lemurian quartz, which is beautiful and very much on board with today's theme. Well, it seems that the energy you're dealing with, what's happening to you right now, with your aura and around you, and even like I would dare to say, just in 2026, if I had to put a time frame to this reading, it because we're doing it at the beginning of the year, I would assume this is for like the entirety of 2026, these messages that will come through. It's not confined by that too harshly, but somewhat. So you have the Lemurian chords, you see these keyholes with the keys inside. You are unlocking new potentials in 2026. You're seeing new paths, truly. I feel like, and you can flip the metaphor. Like if you've been that bird stuck in a lake, swimming, not knowing that you can use your wings, maybe you're finally using them. You're finally flying out of the nest, flying out of the comfort zone, the lake that you were used to. Maybe you live among fishes, and just because they can't leave their pond, they convinced you that you're a fish too, and that you can't fly just like them, and that you can't leave the pond just like them. And let me correct myself, fish can also be used in plural. All right. So yeah, you are having lots of epiphanies, group one, okay? You're having lots of epiphanies, new ideas are being unlocked, new parts of you are being unlocked, and you're just figuring out that you have these other skills that you can use, you have these other paths that you could go. You're figuring out that you're not stuck. So I would say that this year for you is a reclamation of your freedom, especially mentally. Like all these confines, all these rules, all these things that you believed about yourself, you're overcoming. Yeah, I'm noticing the green glow behind the crystal. I know it's white, yellowish here, but these green clouds right here, these like almost neon smudges in the background. I'm thinking how all of these realizations will be the result of healing. This could be physical healing, like you're finally healed from something that held you back, and you're finally free again. This could be the result of mental healing as well, obviously. But I do see healing in the background. It's almost like this year healing for you, whether it's physical or mental, is something that will naturally happen as the result of you reclaiming your freedom. Maybe you tried to do it the other way around. You wanted to heal first and be free second. But Spirit is saying that when you do all these things you wanted to do as a healed person, you will heal in the process. The more you try to embody this person by doing these things you believed you couldn't, you heal yourself. Petalite. Okay, quick warning, I'm not acquainted with all the crystals inside this deck, so if I don't know about any of these crystals, first I will go off intuitively, and then if I still feel like we need a message, I will open up the guidebook, which may happen with this crystal right here. So we have the petalite, we have a little spiral around the head of the, on the forehead, of this spirit head inside the crystal. There's a little face here. I love these colors around it. And this feels very intuitively creative because we have the oranges and the yellows of the lower chakras of the sacral and solar plexus in particular, but we'll also have the purples and the violets of the third eye and the crown. So with this crystal, you're really combining your intuition with your creativity. It's almost like you're bringing your spirituality into your creativity, or you're bringing your extensive knowledge on some sort of topic into your creative outlets. This could be you're incorporating historic dance motifs in your modern dance practice. You're incorporating techniques of the old painters into your own paintings, or you've been researching like this particular culture or historical event, and now you're painting it or writing about it or singing, using metaphors in your songs. You are putting your knowledge and your research into a creative outlet. You are connecting, you're creating a bridge between fields, is what I'm seeing here. Some of you really feel, your energy really feels like you're going to some kind of art school, or it feels like a school, but it doesn't feel too traditional in the way that it's structured. Okay, so I don't know if this could be like an online school, but I do see you learning a lot this year and embodying what you've learned. So immediately you put what you've learned into practice, is what I'm seeing here. And we have selenite. So this card has been coming up a lot in personal readings for clients, and I think in previous readings I've done using this deck on the channel. So I almost consider it as this, like, just as you will use the outer planets in astrology, like these collective energies, I would consider this as a collective energy. So this may apply to all groups, or this may even apply to people around you, so it may not be the most personal thing that I will mention. But with the selenite, this card, whenever it pops up, it's almost like telling me you're on the right path of your ascension, because you have that spiral. So yes, you are ascending. That is just a confirmation. If you're wondering, is what I'm doing like helping me with my spiritual growth, with my spiritual path? Because when you have an awakening and years pass, of course you can be very, very committed to your spiritual practices and such, but for many people at some point spirituality will become this like a given mindset. You don't even really pay attention to it, and you just resume with your normal life, but in a slightly different way. And at least for me personally, that's been the case. Sometimes I would feel like, am I doing enough to be on the spiritual path? And that this card in particular, I figured, is almost like a message that tells you you don't have to do, you just have to be. Okay, as long as you're being authentic and truthful to you, you follow your heart and intuition, whatever that takes you, even if it's outside of the spiritual field, you're still on your spiritual path. So this is your confirmation pile one, group one. If you're wondering, oh, should I go this way because I won't have time for this spiritual thing that I used to do, or but these people don't believe in the same things that I believe in, but I would love to learn from them or work with them or whatever. Spirit is saying you're still bringing your ascended knowledge, or soul's knowledge, to the table. You're still bringing it to the table, whether it's packaged as art, music, being a historical teacher, being a movie director, being a cashier somewhere. You're still bringing that energy to the table just by being you. So that is just a confirmation. Keep going. Don't let that hold you back. These thoughts, don't let them hold you back. Anything else from the Lemurians, from this deck in particular? Alright, I think I'm gonna keep it here. And now we're going to use another oracle deck. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. I do want to read about the petalite to see if I was on the right path, or even if I mentioned something that's completely outside of the message of this card. I just want to see what else the objectivity of the guidebook can add to the reading. Okay, we have witnessing, the observer, an ability to detach, the impersonal quality of the universe. This is interesting. Sometimes life feels too close for comfort. Decisions are difficult to make when you're taking life so personally. This is particularly true for empaths and sensitives. When petalite spirit arrives, it's here to give you the ability to step back and observe with detachment and neutrality. There is a place within you that allows you to observe without emotion. See the world with the perspective of acceptance, trying to change not what you see as external to you, but rather the lens through which you perceive it. Now is the time to step back and observe what is in front of you. Are you reacting to something that is triggering you, or are you overwhelmed by the sheer amount of information that you need to process and the time required to sort things out? Petalite spirit reminds you that a clear, detached manner will empower you to understand the true nature of what is in front of you now and to take your steps in your own time. All right. Many of you might be dealing with headaches simply for the amounts of information coming through, because I'm noticing here you have this keyhole around the head, like the forehead and top of the head area. Here you have the spiral on the forehead. Here you have like this air energy piercing through the head of this spiraling crystal, and again the forehead. So you are getting a lot of downloads right now. The Lemurians are kind of warning you. You're getting lots of downloads, lots of ideas, lots of inspirations, and like clear cognizant moments. So if you're getting headaches, don't pop up a pill for your headache. Sit down and meditate. Lay down on the bed, close your eyes, and try to see what is your body trying to tell you. What is your crown chakra receiving? Higher heart activation. Dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. Okay. The temple of truth, throat chakra, authenticity and self-expression. And Shambhala initiations, retreating to recharge, trusting in the process, Dharma. I think I've used this deck a lot in the past, and I think I've never received this card, because now as I'm looking at it, it's almost like I see it for the first time. So it's interesting that it's coming through, and it's in beautiful alignment with this, with the petalite card, by the way. Alright, I'm gonna get the guidebook right next to me, but first let's see what my intuition tells me here. Alright, we have the higher heart activation with dropping shields, divine love, your heart is healed. So in combination with the temple of truth, what I'm seeing is that you're being encouraged by the Lemurians to speak more truthfully, and I feel like this is going to occur naturally in 2026. I feel like in the past you didn't speak a lot of your truth because perhaps it wasn't really coming from your heart, but perhaps it was coming from a place of pain. So whenever you would speak, you hurt yourself, you hurt others. Maybe you have Mercury in the 8th house and Scorpio, Pluto conjuncting, opposing, squaring your Mercury, your moon, your ascendant, Lilith on the ascendant. So your expression was usually taken as being harsh or rude even. And what I'm getting is that the Lemurians are guiding you into softening and expressing even difficult truths. When you express them from a place of love, they don't sound so harsh. I think you are very mental. You express them much from a lot from a place of logic and like directness and like, well, this makes sense and this is the brutal hard cold truth. And now this is changing. You're still speaking the truth, but you're coming from a place of love. You're coming from a place of your heart, and from a place of a healed heart. Okay, so that's something I'm seeing here. Trusting in the process and Dharma. Yeah, so in 2026 and now in general, the Lemurians are coming through with this message of things are being arranged as they're supposed to be. So you won't be much in control of your life in recent times, okay? You have to let things fall into their place, and you have to let your purpose, your mission be revealed to you. So this year is not really an year for setting up goals. It's more so about waiting for things to be revealed to you, like, oh, this needs to be done, or this thing is calling me, I need to pursue it. So it's not really a good idea to sit down with your notebook or a piece of paper and be like, okay, I'm gonna fix this, and this, because it sounds good on paper. It feels logical that these would be things that you want to work on if you want to live your best year or whatever. No, you have to actually wait for you to be called into certain things. So for example, you don't sit down and write, I'm gonna start going to the gym. I'm gonna use the most basic example here. You're going to see in what ways your body calls you to move. Could be a walk. On that walk, you could bump into someone, right? Find a life-changing book. You could be called to start dancing, go to dancing classes, or someone may literally invite you. So the call can come from within, it can come from outside, but it's not something you sit down and think logically through and like schedule it and force it. It's something that has to happen naturally. And even for you guys that have tight schedules, 9 to 5 jobs, family to take care of, I'm getting from Spirit that yes, even for you, this will be no exception this time. I feel like your Spirit has been, what's the word, lenient? Is that the word? Basically, Spirit has been loose with their rules with you because Spirit knew how many things you were taking care of. So they were like, okay, we're gonna let them kind of figure this out, however this works out best in their human environment. But now the Lemurians are coming through with this stronger energy of this time is over, this time of you given an opportunity to control things again and one last time, this is over. And now you really have to submit to waiting to receive a call, waiting to be called to things and by things. I see strong protections around your house. I know it says here dropping shields, but I'm getting strong protections around your house, and I'm getting that some of you need to plant flowers around your house. It's almost like the very spirits of these flowers. Maybe you will again be called by certain flowers. The spirit of the flowers will serve as guards, protectors. I'm hearing some of you, like, lots of animals are being called to you, and that is your sign. If lots of animals are called to you and to your, especially to your living space, that is your sign that you have like these animals being alerted, oh, this place needs to be guarded. So that is your sign you need to protect your home environment, okay? Maybe you've left it very open and it's time that you protect it. All right, I do want to ask, how are the Lemurians connected to you? But I'm trying to pick the tarot deck that I want to work with. I've selected a few that I resonate with, but still. Alright, I'm gonna use this one. It's very rich in symbols and imagery, which is usually what I go for. How are the Lemurians connected with you, and what else do they need to say? We have the Aquila constellation, we have Queen of Swords, we have powerful ally, loyalty, and honor. So it seems that you've helped the Lemurians a lot in your past incarnations. With the Queen of Air or Queen of Swords, I would say you were some sort of keeper of knowledge, some sort of guardian of like, I want to say like a pocket realm, a dimension of some sort, filled with knowledge that was only accessible to souls that had a certain type of development or certain aura, etc., certain keys, okay? You were the keeper, and only certain people with the key to this dimension could access it, and you were keeping that knowledge safe. And we have Five of Swords. I'm not sure why the Five of Swords is described as structural stability, foundation, and risk analysis, but I'm gonna take everything in consideration. So the Lemurians are coming through with this strong message. Nothing is as it seems, okay? There is a lot underneath the surface. So if you wanted to dive into some huge iceberg in some field, now is the time to do it. Really, they're supportive of you to unpack truths at this time. They're supportive of you to be on a truth discovery journey at this time. And truths will be revealed about what is happening behind the scenes, underneath the surface, that's poking your life from different directions. And maybe you feel like these things that are happening or people are annoying. Excuse me. All right, I'm fine now. And maybe you've tried to figure it out. Where is this coming from? Why is this happening? And I'm seeing that the Lemurians will help you see the truth. With the Temple of Truth, this is not just about you speaking your truth, it's about finding out truth. So I'm getting that whatever is happening behind the scenes, energetically, or if someone is like, has been lying to you, trying to deceive you, this person will be exposed, the situation will be revealed in its full truth to you. All right, and finally we have Five of Pentacles, resources, craftsmanship, labor. Okay. This to me looks like collaboration. So your intuition will be very precise about who not to collaborate with. Know that if certain collaborations did not work out, that's for a reason. You're being protected. And whatever collaborations feel like you were guided to them, they just came to you, that's also guided, okay? It's meant to happen this way, okay? So yeah, I'm getting that definitely you will see the truth, find out the truth about certain people you worked with, you collaborated with. Some of it may be disappointing, some of it may be cool, but just because with the Five of Swords, this is usually about someone trying to be deceptive, etc. And I think that such deceptions will be revealed, especially with the Queen of Swords. You're like discovering the truth. Lemurians are showing me here that the resources that you need will come to you through other people more often than you acquiring these resources on yourself, on your own, excuse me, on your own. Other people will come be like, oh hey, have you heard of this like free thing that you can use? Or hey, I have a card for this thing that I'm not gonna use, so do you want it? Because otherwise I'm just gonna throw it away. Like things like that I see will come into your life. It's interesting that is almost like your good karma for that time when you used to be like a guardian of knowledge, but also someone who would share the knowledge with those who could pass whatever initiations were and thresholds were placed for these souls to pass. You would then give them that knowledge that they have been prepared for. And it's almost like all these students that you've had in a past life will come to you now bearing gifts. Almost like, hey, look, I am here because of you, so now I'm gonna help you get wherever you want to go. So this is what I'm seeing in this portion of your reading, group 1. Now, if you want to check out like what past lives you've had as a Lemurian, what connections you have to the Lemurians, and more of your like cosmic history with them, I would love to see you in the extended portion of this reading. I do them for usually very symbolic prices, so they're accessible to almost anyone. So yeah, I would love to see you there. And until then, until my next pick a card, make sure to come here again for the next pick a card too. And thank you for watching. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This helps my channel so much. And as you know, I'm open for personal readings at this time, so I would love to work with you. Until I see you again, group 1. Bye. Hi group 2, welcome to your reading. So let's see what the Lemurians have for you. What messages do they have? Okay, now I always like concentrate a little bit before I turn on the camera, start filming with the crystal, with the group, trying to see what messages come through intuitively. And for you, as I was looking at this crystal, I was seeing so many landscapes, like landscapes, fields and open fields and skies and like markings. And I was also seeing at the bottom of the crystal there is like a little dent here that for some reason to me it looked like the horse in the horse figurine in chess, and it looked like Anubis, like a profile of the god Anubis. So these two come through along with an eagle as well, is what I'm seeing here. So let's break it down bit by bit. This may take me a little bit of time, so please be patient with me. With Anubis, usually when he comes through, I always think of protection. Of course, he's like the one that escorts you, guides you through the underworld. So he's usually a guide, at least that's how he's seen. But for me, I've always felt a sense of protection from him. I don't know why. And he is also someone, Anubis is a figure that kind of, when he shows up, I know that you're supposed to confront some sort of fear. So what's coming through here is, that's the first message. The Lemurians are trying to tell you that there are certain things that maybe you want to stay blind to, you don't want to acknowledge, but you have to. And that you're protected while doing so. You're safe. You're safe to acknowledge these things, to face these people, have these conversations, admit these things about yourself, about your journey. It's okay. You're being protected. And with Anubis, it's like you're being guided through this underworld experience of yours, okay? I was just also sensing a very strong presence of just ancient Egyptian energy. And partially maybe it's because of, like, this is reminds me of gold, although it's not. It kind of looks like a pyramid, so maybe that's where I'm associating it with. But to me, it's more so about I'm sensing this almost like a battle between your Lemurian guides and your ancestors. So this is not for all of you, but some of you do have ancestry in North Africa, Egypt specifically, and it's almost like these ancestors are in conflict with your spiritual progression. And I know that usually the ancestors they want to help us, right? They want to protect us, they want to provide for us, but it's almost like where you come from is not where you're headed, and you're headed somewhere very foreign from where your ancestors are from. And your spirit guides, it's almost like they're leading you to this, and your soul, your higher self, are leading you to this maybe other culture, a different belief system, a different land, and the ancestors are kind of like resisting this. This is what I was feeling. And Anubis is coming through with very intense energy of death and rebirth. Throwing, almost like what I'm having visions of is throwing anything that does not serve you in a river of fire and like letting it burn, and moving on. So maybe for some of you, you had difficult connections with some of your family members, your father's line, your mother's line, certain relatives, even like passed on relatives. There is drama, there are things that you know of that have happened that you don't approve of, and it's almost like you may be even in conflict with these people, your ancestors, that you don't even know, but you know about their history. So there is conflict between the two of you, and this is creating a lot of stagnation is what I'm getting, because it's like all the parts of you that kind of are connected to them are held back because they're pulled in one direction, and all the other parts that are fully independent are pulled in another direction, your soul. So it's like pulling rope and you're in the middle. That's what I'm seeing here. With these landscapes that I saw, this to me is just that you're guided to a new territory, a new land, foreign places, foreign cultures. That's where your higher self wants to take you. Now, I hope more information about this will come through now as I start pulling cards. Let's see, what do the Lemurians want to tell you? And I almost feel like the Lemurians, the Lemurian souls that you've worked with in your past lives and as a higher self in the spiritual realms, you figured out one direction for you that you really resonate with. But now when you come into flesh and blood, your flesh and blood calls you in another direction. Your ancestry calls you in another direction. And the Lemurians are saying that they can't get you quite where you're supposed to be because there's a lot of things in the family that are being unprocessed and a lot of ways in which you haven't cut cords. It's not about forgetting who you are and where you come from, etc. But maybe even through holding on to anger, even in that way, even when you're holding on to this desire to rebel, you keep the connection tight and strong between you and your ancestors. Whether it's that you hold a grudge and you want to reject them, but you hold a grudge, you're holding on to them. So the Lemurians are showing me that there's something you'll have to let go of. Alright, we have the Autolite. Hold on. There is darkness around the throat. You've swallowed a lot of things that were meant to be said. You've polluted your throat is what I'm getting. Your metabolism maybe has slowed down as well. This is not medical advice or analysis or anything like that, by the way. Just a disclaimer, always seek a medical professional. So yeah, what I see in the cards is like the slowing down of metabolism and processing things because you're holding on to them. I'm hearing you're holding on to spiky things. You're holding on to sharp objects with ferocity. You don't want to let go. Maybe you have lots of Cancer placement, lots of Mars affected like positions in your chart. Mars in the first, Mars conjuncting Sun, rising, squaring them, Mars in Aries in the 4th house, Mars in Cancer in the 4th house, Mars opposition or square Moon. These are positions that, or even replace Mars with Saturn, but I'm getting more so Martian energy here because I'm getting angered. But even Saturn can make it like very difficult for you to deal with the family because you feel a sense of responsibility yet limitation by them. So the Lemurians are saying that this is an issue that you will have to solve if you want to keep progressing with your spiritual purpose, with the things you've come here to accomplish and experience, and if you want to find your happiness. Orange sapphire. There's a lot of fire within you, and a lot of it maybe you channel into anger or frustration when it can be put into creativity, action, being productive toward meaningful things. Lithium quartz. Wow. I don't know why I had a vision of a mirror, like a mirror that's passed down generation to generation. That mirror you should throw away, and if it's antique that costs a lot, just sell it. But I'm getting a mirror that someone needs here to needs to get rid of. Okay, now I will read about the lithium quartz in particular from the guidebook, but let me first kind of take a look at it and then I'm gonna read from the guidebook because I'm not acquainted with all the crystals in this guidebook. All right. This is like a true tower moment here. The Lemurians are coming through to say, hey, there are certain structures in your life that you have to break and destroy to build new ones. Because here what I see is that the house is metaphorically on fire. And I'm seeing this, like, you see the face in the crystal? All crystals have like little faces in them, but one in particular. But here, there are these like spots here. And when I looked up close, they're not other faces, but from afar, they look to me like these small, tiny faces, almost like these babies that this bigger figure is protecting, but also kind of looming over. There is a dragon in the household. There is a dragon in the household, wherever you live or in the family. It feels like female energy. It feels like very dominant female energy. It doesn't always have to be, of course, but it does feel like this. And it feels like this person has controlled everything, has loomed over you for so long. And maybe you have a sibling or two, because I'm getting like siblings here gathered around her throat. And it's like this dragon is on fire, they're burning. But they're a dragon. They can burn and withstand it, but you're not. And the dragon here stands for someone who they can withstand the toxicity, but you can't. And I mean, they are the one creating fire. So all the smoke here, the embers, they have created this fire field around them. And you're gonna burn alongside if you don't get out of this situation. Number 33. Number 3 can be a synchronicity that you notice a lot that is very important. Look at that. The essential meaning of lithium quartz: harmoniousness, peacefulness, and joyful interconnectedness. Oh my gosh, like I feel it's so ironic that just intuitively by looking at the cards, I got the complete exact opposite. And I think that the message is basically that these are the things that you need to accomplish, and these are the things that are stopping you. Because to me, intuitively, what the Lemurians are pointing out is that you can have this harmony in the environment where you are. You too have this fire within you, right? I told you have fire within you. But you will be taught to use this fire in the wrong way if you stay in this environment, if you stay stuck in the family trauma. Alright. Karmic board clearing, energetic clearing, rewrite your story, live your truth. Alright, this is interesting because this feels like now that I'm thinking about it, and even the ironic messages of this card, it feels like the Lemurians are coming through to tell you that they're giving you an opportunity and that they will clear the board for you. They will give you an opportunity to free yourself from karmic entanglements. So when that opportunity comes, you better take it. And don't waste time. Arcturian light codes, evolutionary downloads, recalling power, and future thinking. Okay. With rewrite your story, with evolutionary downloads, recalling power, future thinking, it's almost like the Lemurians are giving you an opportunity to rewrite your spiritual genetic code, if you will. That almost like with epigenetics, you know how certain genes are only active in certain environments. Well, it seems to me that the Lemurians are giving you an opportunity to put certain genes to rest and awaken new ones that will propel you into a better life, both physically and spiritually. But you will have to like really notice these opportunities and really take them, because you have rewrite your history and future thinking. You're given an opportunity to change your past, to change the consequences of the past, to scratch whatever has happened, have a new blank page open for you, and write a new future. A future that wasn't expected for you if you were to keep the old timeline, okay? So the Lemurians are coming here with, we're installing a new timeline for you. We're initiating you into an ability to see, create, and live a new timeline. But you have to take this initiation. You have to take this opportunity to be initiated. And this initiation may be difficult, you know. It may be difficult to part ways from home, or whatever it is that you need to do here to heal. Or even if you live alone and you live far away from home, but you still hold a grudge against your family, maybe the opportunity is like finally going to that therapy or doing that body work to free emotions from the body, whatever it is, whatever this opportunity looks like for you that you've been avoiding, you've been uncomfortable to talk about it and take action towards this. It will present itself to you again, and you have to do it this time. Wow. Okay. We have Anunnaki light codes, energetic shift, new information, end of a cycle. You've got a lot of codes, which is interesting. Yeah, really, the Lemurians are coming through with this message that it's time for you to transcend whatever spiritual things your biology connects you to and your blood calls you to, etc. It's like, it's time to go beyond this. All right, let's see. What else do the Lemurians want to share with you? What else is happening? What else are they noticing about your future, about your life? What do you need to know about? What's going on with the energy around you? Too many cards. Too many cards. Okay. This one really wanted to come out. Five of Wands. Well, funnily enough, Five of Wands corresponds to Mars in Leo, or Mars energy in general, because it's about conflict. And we have the Nine of Pentacles. And you have the Queen of Cups. And you have the Ten of Cups. All right, so the first thing that I have to say, be careful for things, people, places, situations that almost want to buy you. Like they want to buy you and to get you away from your true path by making another path so irresistible when it comes to the material aspects of life. Okay, this is something that I see many of you kind of naturally resisting, because despite the money, or I don't know, like the material comforts, I think that you just won't love it, and you're gonna be like, I just can't really do it. But you have the Queen of Cups and the Ten of Cups. So if you, when it comes to choosing a path for yourself, if you do listen to your intuition after all, if you do listen to your heart, what your heart really loves to do, to be involved in, etc., you have a Ten of Cups as a follow-up. Okay, you have the happy home, happy family. Oh wow, okay, so this is deep. So especially for those of you who really resonate with the family issues, family trauma, ancestral trauma, what I'm seeing here is some of you may be seduced by the idea of, I don't want a family of my own, I'm gonna make a lot of money, build amazing businesses, and you can still do that, definitely, if you want to. But what I'm seeing here is that many of you have this healing journey to go on, and it will take you towards like actually building a happy family for yourselves, like building what you didn't have with a soulmate, with someone really meant for you, with someone who really sees you, understands you. But you have to, like, you can still accomplish your goals, okay, don't get me wrong, but I feel like your purpose is to really break the pattern, and to do so you need to build a healthy family environment. And instead of like giving up on a family and thinking I would never have that because it's awful to have a family, actually healing where you realize I can build such a better environment for my children or for my partner, etc., and thus break this pattern. Because I see that this is meant for you if you don't go into extremes when it comes to how you judge your situation. You see, you come from a family lineage that has suffered through great cataclysms. And I mean, thinking almost like logically, it would make sense that many of us have had suffered, or like many of our ancestors have had suffered through cataclysms. But with you, for some reason, it feels more prominent, it feels more significant, it feels like it's something that left a huge imprint. You know how different nervous systems, for example, they can go through the same things, the same like adrenaline inducing or traumatizing things, but they will respond to different aspects of these things, or they will respond differently. Well, it's the same with like collectives and souls. We may go through the same events, but the soul memory will be different. What's activated and what is dormant will be different. And for your lineage, for your ancestry, it feels like survival through really the worst is like a very active memory. It's how the lineage has operated for a long time. And you have the Queen of Cups here, you have the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Ten of Cups. The Lemurians are showing you that your soul is meant for harmony. Your soul is meant to thrive in harmony, rest and relaxation, just enjoying the present moment. So whenever that feeling of, oh, I'm gonna fight for this, like whenever that feeling overcomes you, know that it's not really coming from a good place, and you need to learn how to lean into a more gentle life experience. That is the healthy path for you. And all that fire, it can just simply fuel creation, okay? You can transform it instead of embodying that warrior energy that keeps you in a fight or flight. Use it for more creative pursuits, and for the other aspects of life, try to be more laid back, relaxed, trusting. That's why you have the Queen of Cups. You need to get comfortable with kind of not going with the flow, because that's not exactly what I'm saying here, but more so you need to get comfortable with taking action intuitively. So it may look on the outside like you're doing a lot, but you're taking action intuitively, and you don't feel like it tires you, you don't feel like it's a survival tactic. Because the Lemurians are coming through specifically with this message. If you overcome the survival tactics that are ancestral, you will open up yourself to these light codes of knowledge, information, intuition, inspiration, all the great things. The good things, as I like to call them, the good stuff. And that's the seduction that I see here. That is like the still low vibrational timeline that may trick you. It's a timeline where you still fight. It's just that now you fight for like these material things, which we all love, material comforts, or we can all benefit from them. But this timeline seduces you to believe that you need to keep existing in a fight mode. But now you're not fighting family, you're fighting for money, or you're fighting for status, or all these things. That's a timeline you have to overcome and kind of step into this more intuitive one, more intuitive timeline. Alright, so group 2, this is all I have for you as of now. And if you want to continue with this reading, in the extended portion, I will ask about your past lives as a Lemurian or with the Lemurians. Why are you connected with them? How are you connected with them? And basically your Lemurian Akashic records. That's what we will be diving into in the extended portion. So I really hope to see you there. I usually price these extended readings very symbolically, so almost anyone can enjoy them. And if I don't see you there, I hope you visit my channel for the next big card reading. Thank you so much for watching until the end. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment about your experience with the reading. I love to hear how these readings resonate with you guys, and that's a way to show me that you've watched until the end and you've enjoyed it. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye, Pile 2. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading. So if you chose this crystal, this is your reading. Now, before we get into the cards, I always like to give you guys an intuitive message, because I kind of just tune in before I turn on the camera for each pile and see what comes through. And for you, I was getting strong Aquarius energy. I was getting something about unusual intelligence, high intelligence. So with Aquarius energy, this makes me think of like the sciences, of course. So you could be in the scientific fields. You could be developing AI, technology of any sort, medicine, you could be a biologist, etc. I'm also, with Aquarius though, Aquarius also rules in astrology, astrologers, and you could be in that field as well. But with, I was getting like this Mercury energy, Mercury and Aquarius, this kind of energy. So right now, the Lemurians are coming through telling you, hey, language right now is operating on a very high vibrational scale for you at this time. So the way you speak and things you're trying to express may be way up here and people can understand you way down here. So you have to start learning how to translate so you can match people so that they can understand what you're trying to tell them. So I do see extensive like writing, I do see extensive research, paperwork. These are things you may be engaging with, and the Lemurians are kind of working with you on this. Whatever ideas you're getting right now, they do come from your higher self, but they're also, how do I say, the Lemurians are helping bring those ideas to you, to your human consciousness, and they're also like putting their input in them. So they're saying that it's very important to take down notes of any ideas that you have at this time and to research whatever it is that you kind of don't know, you have questions about, just go and research it. Hold on. Let me shuffle this. Number 11 is coming through. 11 is connected to Aquarius, the 11th house in astrology, and it's an ascended master number. All right, we have the Serifos green quartz. It's the first time I'm receiving this one. Quick warning, I do use my intuition when I look at the cards, but I will also use the guidebook because I'm not acquainted with all the crystals in the guidebook. Okay, in the deck. So, it's almost like a hand reaching out. But it's also, it feels like crystal consciousness, and all these crystals have like, they have these faces in them embodying that the crystals are conscious. But this one in particular, it feels like consciousness springing to life. And with this green, it is very, and we have emerald at the bottom of the deck. With this green, it is very mercurial. I do associate this deep dark green with Mercury energy, with Hermes. And he was a god of literacy, of alphabets and mathematics. So it's interesting that his energy is coming through, along with this Aquarius energy that I picked up on. I'm taking off my blouse. Alright. Because it's too warm in my room. Okay. The Lemurians are encouraging you to go on that big brain path, okay? I know some of you may be scared, you may be thinking, but it's too much studying. I need to have these perfect grades. But they are really encouraging you to go in this field. And if you're already in the field, there might be a project that feels too big for you. The Lemurians are like, go for it. And also, it seems like you will invite other people on this journey with you, so you won't be working completely alone. Many of you are meant to educate people on these very abstract concepts, very elevated, out there concepts. Wow, lepidolite. Alright, we have a lot of crystals coming through in this reading, just the whole reading. Pile 3, and for pile 2 and for pile 1, like lots of crystals that I've never received before. So this to me is always very fun when I get new cards out of the decks, because you have no idea how, like, the decks, it feels like they like certain cards and they often give me the same cards. And it's true, different messages can come through the same cards, but still, it's nice to have different ones. Lepidolite, this looks like an Akashic book, to be honest with you. And it looks like a very old book, so it seems to me that maybe some of you will be diving into old languages, old manuscripts. There's some research you're meant to be doing. Too many cards. They are a great match. Okay, I will quickly check the guidebook. Life on life's terms. Joie de vivre, and acceptance of our place in the world. So the joy of living and acceptance of our place in the world. Heaven on earth, what is meant to be. As long as we're human, we will face times when the only choice is to accept life on its own terms. But in that acceptance lies a most precious treasure, the gift of now. Surrender to this moment exactly as it is, and your heart will open, releasing what needs to be left behind as you join with the conscious universe on a journey of your own healing. Okay, this is interesting because maybe some of you are forcing to figure out something genius or to create a genius idea, concept, and Spirit is saying stop forcing it so much and try to tap into that part of you that feels like connected to the universe itself, to the consciousness of the very universe, that part of you that feels like it's not you who's writing the ideas or whatever you are doing, it's like this higher force, and it's all coming through you, you're just a channel for it. Because maybe some of you have really put a lot of pressure on yourselves to come up with these grandiose ideas. Maybe you have projects where it's demanded out of you to come up with ideas. Maybe like your job is to be like a creative director, or I don't know, a visionary of some kind. So if you feel like you've been depleted, the well of inspiration has been depleted, tap into the biggest well available, the universe itself. Alright, meditation and spiritual work is not just for spiritual advancement, it can be for inspiration, it can be for refreshing your mind with new ideas. The lepidolite is about simplification, manageability, organization, one task at a time. Yeah, it does feel like you have this great project coming up. The Lemurians are encouraging you to take it on and do it. And of course, you have a card telling you, hey, break down the tasks into smaller ones so you can actually accomplish this. You see how this crystal springs into 5 smaller ones? Like that's the idea here. Deal with each pillar on its own. This is random, very random, but some of you, I don't know if you like broke a leg, an arm, a wrist, a finger, but I'm hearing bones are healing. So some of you are healing your bones, literally. I don't know why this is coming through. Maybe it will make sense later. I will pull from another deck just in a minute. And let's see this one. Okay, we have pyrite. Oh yes, that's it. This is the crystal from pile number 2, the little squared. That's it, it's pyrite. Oh my gosh, it's so funny that this is showing up for you. Okay. All right, quick check for pyrite, and I'm gonna pull from another deck. Inherent value, knowing your worth, self-appreciation, genuine abundance, and prosperity within. Yeah, I love this. This is very much Leo energy. Some of you may have like North Node in Gemini, Aquarius, potentially even Libra, and like North Node in the air signs, South Node in the fire signs, which means that you're leaving behind selfishness, aggression, impulsivity, and you're trying to be more organized, more inclusive, more diplomatic, more of an intellectual rather than a street smart type of person. Okay, this is your progression here that I'm seeing, and the Lemurians are encouraging this. Okay, hold on. I'm getting messages, and maybe this will also come up in the extended portion where we're gonna talk about your Lemurian past lives and why are you connected to the Lemurians, how are you connected to them. But what I'm getting is something about, I'm getting like a female spirit guide that is kind of laughing about you in your past incarnations, saying how you I'm trying to figure out how to explain it, but basically you felt very much uncomfortable being trapped in a physical dense body. It was almost like you were this worm, or like when the butterfly is still in the cocoon and it's trying to get out. That is the energy here, and what I'm getting is that you used to incarnate in your past lives when humanity was a bit more underdeveloped into these bodies that could not hold the intelligence of your soul, and your soul by nature is an intellectual, so that's why you had these past lives and fire signs, because you came into the physical incarnation, into a physical embodiment, and because you couldn't channel, download all of the intellectual property of your soul into this one particular body, or a couple of different bodies throughout your incarnations, you would get like angry and you would get into sports and physical things, almost like you tried to open up space for information through movement, and you were very frustrated. And now in this current lifetime, you have a much broader capacity to download this intellectual property, and now it's almost like not necessarily the higher self, but the part of you that incarnated in physical bodies that still remembers those past incarnations is almost like you got so used to being limited in the physical realm, intellectually, mentally, that now it's almost like a part of your soul is thinking, oh, but can I handle all of that information? And now the higher self is frustrated because it's like, you waited for this particular incarnation like for ages, now you have it, and now you're afraid. And that's why I'm hearing your guides laughing about it, because it's the irony of like this opposition. And that's why I have North Node in an air sign, or like an air house, or conjuncting Mercury, conjuncting Uranus, maybe even Neptune, where now you have the capacity, or aspecting these planets, now you have the capacity, but now a part of you got so used to like not having it that you almost forgot that you wanted it, and now you're afraid. You're thinking, but can I handle all of this? Can I really manage this much information? Can I make it into the great creation that I've always wanted? And the higher self is really like rolling their eyes, thinking, oh my God, I've been waiting for this, and now this is what they're thinking. So it's kind of funny, to be honest with you. So for those of you who have Leo placements, like outside of the south node, if you have like Leo rising, Leo moon, these Leo placements, they were given to you for a reason, okay? And they were given to you for a reason because the universe, your higher self, whoever comes up with your natal chart, they knew that you would need some confidence from somewhere. So they gave you a Leo placement to kind of believe in yourself. Oops. Wow, and look, by the way, where the deck split. Leo. Interesting. Okay, what do the Lemurians want to tell you? What's happening in the energy around you, in your energy right now? Too many cards. I'm not going to take them. Okay. We have Virgo. Yeah, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it's interesting because Virgo is an earth sign, so it's like Mercury in the physical body, intelligence and body. That's why Virgo is practical and organized and responsible. All right. Digesting things. Virgo is all about health as well. Natural remedies. Virgo is also, if Leo is like the teenagehood and maybe even the early 20s, like the young adulthood of a person, Virgo is the adulting part. Virgo is like when you're 23, 24 and you figure out, oh my gosh, I need to get a job, I need to do this, I need to do that. Virgo is that adulting part. So it's like your soul has progressed enough to now you're being responsible for your human. Like if in past lives you were more playful, experimental, now you're more responsible, and that responsibility sometimes scares you a little bit. We have the 4th house, home. Okay, I like how these match, these colors. And I have to be honest, these colors match as well. Wow. Yep. It was always meant to be this way, I see. And we have Leo. Virgo, Leo, and the 4th house. Again, with the 4th house, I'm thinking of the physical body. I'm thinking of the house of your soul. And Virgo is almost like the physical manifestation of a house that will house your soul properly, while Leo is the sun, is the soul itself. So the Lemurians are here to emphasize how important it is for you to take care of your body, not so much for like the physical benefits, but for the mental benefits, because I feel like your soul has been wanting a physical vessel with more capacity for a long time. And now you got it, especially with like the mental capacity, because both factors have influence. Like the physical vessel has influence on the mental capacity, and then the soul has influence on the mental capacity. And of course, what contracts you signed up, etc. But what I'm getting is that you've been waiting for this lifetime. You've been really waiting and preparing for this lifetime. And the Lemurians are kind of coming through to say, you need to be bold, brave, and confident. if you wanna achieve what you came to achieve. And it may be difficult for you because, especially if you have the mind of a scholar, you wanna be humble, objective, always questioning things, including yourself, just to make sure you have the most objective truth. But with Leo here, this is telling you that maybe you believe yourself to be an objective person, but perhaps you're actually more pessimistic. So you actually need this positive attitude, you need the confidence, etc., to balance these energies out. What do the Lemurians want to tell you? Look at that house of learning. My gosh, like, pile 3, your message is just so crystal clear and so focused. There isn't like, oh, and this and that extra message. No, it's so focused. Like, you're supposed to pursue learning and teaching, and you need to be confident in your intellectual ability to work, exist in that field, and create in that field. Venusian Galactic Council, Star Being Guides, answer the call, time to shine. That's the Leo energy here, okay? It is time for you to shine. It is time for you to be in the spotlight. Be confident to put yourself out there in the spotlight. So if you need a guide, if you need like someone that will help you develop an idea, reach out to potential people that could do that for you. Solar light upgrade, solar plexus chakra, inner fire, willpower. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's like finally you can do the same job that you do in the spiritual realms here on earth. And that's why your higher self is a little bit frustrated if you're resisting this call because of insecurities. Too many cards. King of Pentacles. This is about stepping up into a position of power, influence, a position of stability, like being recognized, being a known name in a certain field. Being trusted, being reliable, a reliable source of information, a reliable person to accomplish certain tasks. And we have the Page of Swords. Absolutely. You are the birthplace of ideas, I'm telling you. And Three of Wands. Lots of doors will open for you on the path of a scholar, on the path of an intellectual in any field. Like lots of doors will open for you if you follow this path. Okay, I wish I could tell you more, pile 3, but it really feels like your message is very straightforward. So yeah, another thing that I see in the cards that kind of came through, but I didn't expand on it. Remember how I told you this kind of looks to me like a book? That's like the spine of the book, like an Akashic book. So with the House of Learning, you may be also someone who can tap into the Akashic records, do this professionally, and that if that's your calling, and again, you need to overcome insecurities about this. But yeah, this is all I see. I just wish something more came through, but I feel like that's really all that you need to know, and it's that straightforward. In the extended portion of your reading, we will ask about your past lives as a Lemurian though. So we'll have more information come up there. Your past lives as a Lemurian, what did you do? How are you connected to the Lemurians that came through in this reading? I price my extended readings very symbolically so anyone can enjoy them, and I usually put how many minutes the extended reading is long, because I would aim for like an even amount for all extended readings, but some are shorter, some are longer. I just can't control it. So you will know exactly how much time you're paying for, etc. So yeah, I really hope to see you there, because I really wish that we get something more out of this. And if I don't see you there, thank you so much for watching until the end. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it resonated with you. Let me know in the comment section below. I'm very, very curious to hear, and I will see you in my next pick a card. Till then, bye. Hello, pile 4, group 4. Welcome to your reading. If you chose this crystal, this is gonna be your reading. So let's see what the Lemurians want to tell you, what's going on with you, with your energy, around you and around your energy. What are you supposed to know from the Lemurians right now? 2 cards, okay. I'm seeing like a briefcase, so maybe some of you are attending some important meetings. I'm hearing something about power moves, important meetings, important people. I'm seeing an eye as well. Your steps are being watched is what I'm getting. We have the sunstone. Oh wow, beautiful. This is a very, very beautiful stone. Very beautiful card. Dumortierite. Oh my gosh, this one is difficult to pronounce, and it, for some reason, it reminds me of Avatar. I don't know why. Okay, let's just first analyze these 2 cards. First of all, this one card. For some reason, when I'm seeing this card, I'm thinking of like galactic contact. So with that message of like you're being watched, maybe you're being watched by your star family, maybe some of you feel like you've seen UFO recently, or like you've been seeing them like plural recently, or that they're around and they're watching you. But I'm getting this energy of a signal being sent out, attracting something with this signal. The signal is being responded to. So if you've tried to make contact with certain beings, this is your message that you'll get a response, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, be intentional with this, okay? These lines here, they look like smoke, so it would be good for you to sage your place, burn some herbs for cleansing. Maybe you've been very busy, because I'm getting like your signal has been clouded for some of you. So you've been very busy doing important big human, adult human work and stuff, and the Lemurians are like, this is great, we know you have to do it, but we would like to speak to you, or we would like to connect, we would like you to tune out the noise for a little bit. All right, and now we have this beautiful crystal connecting to the 3rd eye. And I had that vision of the eye. I feel like pile 4, I don't know if you've been like seeing things, hearing things. I feel like spirit has been very active around you, and maybe you've been purposefully tuning it out. But yeah, what I'm getting is a lot of spiritual activity around you. And for some of you, if you're doing spiritual work, that can sometimes make it difficult for you to do your work. It can cloud you, literally. Like, it can be difficult for you to pierce into the energy of someone else, because there's so much in your own energy. So yeah, cleansing is highly, highly important. If you are a spiritual individual or a spiritual worker of any kind, cleanse, cleanse, cleanse. Because even with the sunstone, I'm thinking of, obviously the sun, I'm thinking of clarity, I'm thinking of illumination. That is also a message from the Lemurians, to work closely with the sun, connect with the sun, and maybe even like different solar deities that you resonate with. Just connect with this solar, pure light consciousness. And I'm getting that it's very good to visualize sunlight, a ray of sunlight coming through your pineal gland and piercing through it. Yeah, because this is about an opening of the third eye chakra, group 4. And maybe many of you have wanted to open it up. Maybe you've even tried, but there's too much noise. So you need to make room, make time for these visualizations and practices. And cleansing the space. I don't know why, but I heard aloha, and I know this is a Hawaiian phrase, so some of you may be connected to Hawaii, the native Hawaiian people. Some of you may be descendants from the native Hawaiian people. Some of you may find answers about your spiritual journey and spiritual practice in Hawaii, okay? Well, hello group 4. Your reading cut, most of it was just gone from the video I filmed last night. So here I am again. I have prepared the sheet of paper where I wrote down everything I remembered from your reading, which is really everything I said. So we won't miss out on any of the messages, but we will miss out on some of the magic, the synchronicities that really happened with the messages, with the cards, with the guidebook that I will read from for a little bit. So I will try to go as chronologically as I can, to stay true to the first time I filmed this. And I will hope that you will still resonate with these synchronicities. I know it's not gonna be the same, but I will do my best to recreate it. Now, my video cut off right before I put this card, the third card from the Crystal Spirit Oracle deck, and then these cards are cards that I put later. This is everything I got until, you know, the very end of the reading, because I completed it and then I saw that it didn't, like, all of it was not captured on camera. So we're going to get into these cards later. I'm going to start reading from my piece of paper. By the way, pile 4, I feel like I will stubbornly get these messages out, because I feel like the universe was just so against me, because I tried to refilm this part that was cut out for I don't know how many times, like 3 or 4 times. I think this is the 4th time, so I really hope this time it works. The issue was apparently the storage on my phone, so I cleared that up as much as I could. And I lowered the quality of the video just a little bit, so it doesn't take too much storage. So yeah, I really hope we have no issues like this anymore. It's my first time with this new phone that I have this issue, so I hope it doesn't happen again. Let's get into it. So the next card that I put, you literally saw me shuffling the deck right before the camera cut off. So the next card was the clear quartz. I will from time to time look at the camera just to make sure I don't lose this footage again, because I lost like 5-10 minutes again and again and again. So I've read these messages here like for 4 or 5 times already. Okay, so with this card, the message to me was obvious. The Lemurians were talking about gaining psychic clarity with the clear quartz, cleansing the chakra, specifically the chakra channels around your ears, your third eye, your crown, so you get better claircognizance, clairvoyance, and clairaudience. Then, as I started to into this card, I realized that it reminded me of something. It reminded me of a scene from, I think, the 6th or 7th Harry Potter movie. So I'm going to describe the scene because it's very rare that I channel movie scenes or book scenes and things like that. But when it comes through, I know that it's something I need to like decode. There are metaphors and there is a message in that association that I'm making. So the scene is Harry and his Professor Dumbledore, they have to go retrieve a magical artifact. And they go into this like cave type of place. There is a lake, or there is water, and then there is a small upraised podium made out of these crystals. So when I saw this card, it looks almost identical to the structure, the crystalline structure of that scene. And if you've watched the movie, maybe you remember, or if you haven't, please see that movie because you will see what I'm talking about. But what was the purpose of that scene? So they have to go retrieve this magical object, and Dumbledore warns Harry, like, okay, I have to drink this potion that they find in the cave. I have to drink this potion. This potion will make me forget why I'm here, that I'm supposed to drink all of it. Your mission, Harry, is to keep giving me that potion. Like, you need to make me drink all of it. Even if I forget, even if I refuse, even if I claim that I'm in pain, etc. And Harry is like, okay. So they start the task, and of course, very soon, Dumbledore starts to refuse. He's saying, please no, please don't, like it hurts, etc. But Harry completes the task, they get the object, they succeed. So this scene, to me, I interpret this as a message that you need to remember something, and specifically you need to remember who you are. Many of you have fallen under some sort of like psychic, almost amnesia. And I'm not talking the type of amnesia when you reincarnate, you don't remember most of your past lives, or you remember in fragments. No, this is different, because what I'm getting here is that you are in the middle of a soul contract, and you're half there, almost have completed it, and something is happening that is distracting you, making you forget, and you have forgotten your why you're doing this, why this purpose, why this mission, why this journey. You have forgotten your why, you have forgotten what great things you're capable of, and the Lemurians are coming through with this message of you need to remember that you are a wizard. And this message that I got back then when I filmed for the first time, that you are a wizard, it has a really curious synchronistic connection to one of these cards. I will show you later. Now, let's move on. Another message that came to me as I was thinking about Harry Potter was like, his character arc, specifically. I think in the books, I haven't read the books, but I've listened about them to lots of videos, so I know enough of them. And one of the character arcs is where Harry almost tries to pretend that he's not the chosen one. He tries to forget, to pretend like there isn't an evil wizard wanting to kill him and destroy the world. He just wants to live a normal life, but soon he realizes that that's just impossible for him. This is not who he is. He is the chosen one. There's a whole prophecy about him, so he can't ignore this. And that's again the message for you guys, that you guys cannot pretend that you weren't chosen for a particular mission, that you don't have certain gifts, that you don't have a certain calling, that certain things have not happened to you that have unlocked these gifts. Now, something I was feeling with you guys, I don't remember which part of the reading, but throughout your reading, I was feeling how you are surrounded by spiritual forces and you're being watched. You're being watched. Remember how I told you I had that vision of the eye when I gave you the visualization that you should be doing? But I'm getting that you're also being watched by certain forces, and conspiratorially, I would like to believe that that's why it was so hard for me to film this reading. And I'm encountering this issue for the first time with this new phone. Like, I felt like these messages, you were not supposed to hear them, but I will make sure you hear them and you get them. And as I say that, I'm checking again if the camera is filming. All right. So then I started pulling cards from this other deck. So the first one, the first one was the Lemurian seed codes, embracing sensitivity, uniqueness, living with grace. Here, my interpretation was that, again, the message is you need to embrace that you're unique. You are a wizard, you are a unicorn, pile 4. And something else I mentioned was how I've noticed very often the last pile 3 or pile 4, is usually the pile with very psychic spiritual messages. I don't know why that is, but you guys are always the one dealing with like your psychic stuff. So maybe some of you have clicked pile 4 or 3 religiously so far as you've been on my channel, or others, every time you're going through something psychic, you're drawn to this pile and the messages resonate. But I just felt like I needed to mention that for some reason your pile, this group, is always the third eye pile. You always deal with something spiritual happening, psychic happening. And it was interesting to me that when I later pulled the other 2 cards, Order of Melchizedek, Embraced by Light, Mission Uncovered, Don't Give Up, and Soul Star Chakra Activation, I noticed that you have all these, like the majority of the colors are purple, violet, indigo. You have some golds, obviously, but the majority are these higher chakras. So you guys are really operating on these psychic planes where you may be encountering other beings, other people. I also got this message that some of you might even be remote viewed, like I sensed that very strongly, especially with the Order of Melchizedek, Mission Uncovered. And my first thought was, oh yeah, so pile 4, you need to remember your mission. That ties in beautifully with the first messages I got from just the crystals. But then I realized someone might have uncovered your mission, pile 4. I feel like someone has been paying attention to you, they've been noticing your work, and it's almost like their energy. I'm getting static around you. I'm getting noise around you. It's almost like their energy, they're so curious, they're watching you either in the spiritual plane, in your dreams, or they're watching you if you're putting yourself out there, and their observation of you interferes with your energy and with your psychic work. That's why you need clarity, protection, cleansing, like every single day. You need to cleanse every single day. And the funny thing is, I'm not necessarily sensing evil or like too low vibrational frequency here. I'm sensing curiosity and almost someone who is like, well, let's see how far pile 4 goes. Let's see how far they get. Let's see how much they figured out. It's almost like someone is tracking your progress and they're waiting to see if you pass certain thresholds, they're gonna stop you, like they're gonna block you or something. So that was one of the messages I was getting. Also, you have embraced by light, you have fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are, which again ties in so beautifully with the messages I so far gave you, and with that association I made with Harry Potter and like the magical amnesia. And when I saw Mission Uncovered, when I got this energy of like you're being watched, it's almost like someone is tracking your mission, how far you are on your mission. And then the magical amnesia, some of you might have experienced amnesia being induced by third parties in your dreams. This could be happening so that you forget your very like psychic dreams. This could have been done, especially remember how at the very beginning of the reading I mentioned some of you have literally witnessed like UFO craft. Well, with the sunstone, that's because these smoky orbs here, like circles, ovals, they reminded me of flying saucers, kind of like the shape, the silhouette. And then with the Lemurian seed codes, we have this holographic thing going on the image. So I thought, oh my gosh, I really think that some of you have made contact in the 3D. Of course, for others it could be in dream state, but for some of you it's literally in the 3D. Of course, again, this message is not for everyone, but those of you who resonate will resonate. Okay, now the next thing that I did was actually read about the cards. So the first card that I read about was the clear quartz, number 18. And I was reminded of something. Clear quartz, essential meaning: amplification, magnification, expansion, growth. The crystal, spirit meditation. Okay, so the message of the crystal: meditate with clear quartz when you desire clarity on any specific aspect of life. Clear quartz is magnanimous in that it will generously offer up its own energy in order to magnify that of any other stone. Containing only silicon and oxygen, it is the purest of all crystals and is easily programmable with our intentions. So with this message, the first thing that I got was, I think I mentioned and that recorded how this sunstone reminds me of like a radio tower or a signal tower. And with the amplification message of the clear quartz, it's almost like when you do spiritual work, it feels like someone else is amplifying a signal that reaches you and clouds you, and it doesn't allow you to go into certain places psychically. Another message that I got was, because you also have the third eye crystal, some of you might be doing work where you've discovered something spiritually, you have become aware of some spiritual influence, something in your field, but that has been magnified, and it could be through emotions such as fear, duality, judgment, where you judge that influence, you hate it, you're afraid of it, etc. And that kind of magnifies it and amplifies it. So be very careful with what emotions you give power to at this time, because you only amplify that signal and you attract more of it. And not only that, but it's almost like, think of it this way: you have a painting in front of you and that's all you can see, and you have a magnifier. Well, let's say there is this one darker element on that painting, maybe low-key scary, maybe a bit unsettling, and with the magnifier it's positioned in such a way that this part of the painting looks much bigger. So much so that you can't look at anything else really. You can't pay attention to it even if you wanted to, because that thing is so distracting. I do feel that there is a presence, there is something around you that uses your emotions to make itself appear bigger than it actually is. Okay, so that's another message from the Lemurians here. They're reminding you you're more powerful than this thing. And in fact, you're the clear quartz. Just as you can program your life, you can also be programmed. Don't allow yourself to be programmed, okay? Pay attention to the programming that's being sent your way. Pay attention to your algorithms, even what your family, friends, people around you talk about. What do you hear as you walk by around in your town, going on chores, etc.? All of this is like the kind of messaging that I feel this third party is trying to send your way or to program into your mind. So you need to become highly aware. That's why I gave it this visualization of like light penetrating the pineal gland, so you can actually see, hear, and know clearly. You can even imagine light erupting from your head, from all directions, from your mouth, nostrils, eyes, crown chakra, ears, just to clear those channels. Because right now it's almost like there are filters placed inside those channels of yours that amplify specific signals and that only allow you to hear specific things. And you may be convinced that this is all there is. This is the reality you walk in right now, but it is not. So I did feel this strong like influence over your timeline, and the Lemurians are trying to call you out. Hey, it's time to forget. It's time to, oh my gosh, look at that. It's time to remember. Maybe they're getting to meet you a little bit. It's time for you to remember the type of spiritual work that provides you with clarity. Maybe you've forgotten about it. And okay, now I think I don't need to read about the sunstone and the dumortierite crystal, because I think all the messages that came through from the guidebook I now remembered, so I already mentioned them. Now, the next cards that I read about was actually the Order of Melchizedek, and now we come to this beautiful synchronicity that I really wanted you guys to see. Okay, let me first find it. Okay, Order of Melchizedek. Melchizedek, whose name means King of Righteousness, is the first high priest mentioned in the Bible, the one who initiated all the great teachers that followed him. He is mentioned in several Abrahamic texts, including the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Kabbalistic Zohar. He is an ancient gatekeeper of the light who is dedicated to helping all those walking the spiritual path to take the initiatory steps to align with the light. The best way to describe this great being is as a wizard. This, when I was reading from the guidebook and I saw this word, I was like, this is crazy wording, because the best way to describe him is as a wizard, and I just came up with this wizard, like Harry Potter and his wizard professor metaphor. I just knew the cards were aligning and I was loving it. I was so hyped. I wish you could hear my initial reaction to this. When you invoke him, Melchizedek, you will feel the presence of a loving and angelic grandfather. Again, another thing, Dumbledore is literally like this grandfatherly figure to the kids in Harry Potter. A loving angelic grandfather who wants to guide you to your greatness. The order of Melchizedek, which was mentioned by Jesus in the New Testament, is a divine order of very high frequency light beings, angels and masters who are working together as an energetic force dedicated to lighting up and outshining all darkness and bringing greater balance of masculine and feminine energies to the earth. Its members include Jesus Christ, Archangel Michael, Archangel Faith, and Mother Mary. By connecting with these cosmic beings, we give permission for our energy to be upgraded by light and to light, so that we can become an even greater vessel of purpose for the world. The message: you have learned so much and you are now recognizing all the great lessons you are experiencing. All all the great lessons your experiences and challenges have brought you, the order of Melchizedek is coming to you today to encourage you to continue on this pathway and not to give up. Even in moments of darkness and fear, there is the opportunity for you to share your light. If you're feeling overwhelmed, it's imperative for you to know you're not alone. Light is with you and within you, and by invoking spiritual support, you will be able to muster up the strength, courage, and focus you need to surmount whatever challenges you face. And this message ties in with these cards here, the tarot. I'm gonna go very briefly because they kind of just confirmed everything that came through here. With the Nine of Wands, I think I already mentioned many of you have been doing shadow work. Maybe you're working with clients that are going through their own shadow work, and you pick up from their energy because you're empathic and sensitive. Empathetic. That's the correct word. Empathetic and sensitive. I meant say you're an empath. So you have the Nine of Wands. You're tired. And it's time for you to rest. And remember how this card spoke of like return to the light. That was very important because one of the critical messages of this reading was you right now are learning how to return to the light because you've been exploring the shadow too much for too long. I know you've been curious about it and you've been doing shadow work and you've been called to do that and learn about certain things, and it's good to know about what lurks in the dark. Like, it's good to be prepared, but it seems that you've spent too long in there, and now you're learning how to pave a path back to the light. And what I had a vision of is like when you create new neural connections, when you try to solidify a habit, you need to repeat something, basically to walk the same path, the same couple of steps, to the same routine to basically build that habit in your brain, to make something habitual in your brain. And it's like you walk the same path over and over and over again until it becomes a very clear pathway, until you're like, oh yeah, I've walked this path before, I know this path, I'm gonna go on it, like it's comfortable for me because I know it. It's the same thing. I saw you building a bridge between your subconscious, or like between the shadow realm, if you will, within which you've worked for a long time spiritually, and between the light realm, and you're building this bridge because it seems that you've been in the darkness before and you've come to the light, and then you plunged in the darkness again, and now you're coming back to the light again. And that will be essentially your spiritual work, most likely, but you need to know when to return to the light. I feel like some of you have grown weary and tired because you forgot that you could return to the light. And that is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands describes someone tired, but someone who's almost there. You've almost completed the mission, just like Dumbledore. You were almost there when you were like ridden with magical amnesia, and then you remember, you pick back up that memory, that light bulb, and then with the Chariot you're moving into this lighter realm. You can even see the background is lighter. And then we have the Judgment, and this is like, look at the gate, isn't it the same? Isn't it so identical? You have that gate opening here, and you have that message. Let me read it for you again. You have learned so much and are now recognizing all the great lessons and your experiences and challenges have brought you. That's the Judgment card. The Judgment card is basically when we are passing the final test and we are seeing what we've learned. So this is from the tarot. The other card I will read to you is the Lemurian seed codes. So let me check my notes really quickly. Alright, I think I've covered everything, but just let me read about this one last card. And I don't know if this is a part that was filmed from the first initial time I filmed this your group for, but I think I mentioned, or if I haven't, I did mention that, and it was just a very random thing. I was just observing the cards, trying to see what comes through, and I was like, oh, this color reminds me of Avatar. Kind of like the color scheme for some reason reminded me of Avatar, specifically the first movie. And now when I read to you the Lemurian seed codes, you will see another synchronicity that I was so hyped about. Where is it? Hold on. Okay. Lemuria was a civilization that was in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in ancient times. The inhabitants of the sacred land lived in complete harmony. Now, I just want to mention something. I'm not sure if this is confirmed by other like channelers, psychics, etc. But I think it's either from a previous reading that I've done here on the channel, some group on the channel, or a personal reading that I've done for Akashic Records, where I got this message that Hawaii is deeply linked to Lemuria. And mind you, I have almost none idea of native Hawaiian culture. So I have no idea why this came through. It's not some not precognitive, but like it's not some preconceived notion that I've built. I just felt that very strongly. I remember this. And when I was reading about the Lemurian seed code, I realized that there might be some connection here. Again, with like, at first I told you about Hawaii and how some of the answers you're seeking may lay there. You will discover something there. A journey to Hawaii may be very significant for you. But yeah, so just wanted to mention that. The inhabitants of this sacred land lived in complete harmony with nature and had a connection with every living being, similar to the movie Avatar. That's the synchronicity. There you go. It's crazy how I barely get these messages of like movies connecting to the cards, and now it's you twice, Avatar and Harry Potter, and I see those messages in the guidebooks of these three cards. It's crazy. Let me check my camera again. Okay. Their inner vision, the Lemurians, was fully activated to the third eye activations. Oh my gosh, like again, third eye messages in these cards. Avatar, intuitive messages in this card. And we have all of it here as well. If this is not a confirmation, I don't know what is. Their inner vision was fully activated to the point where it is thought that their pineal gland was fully developed and they could see for hundreds of miles in every direction, like with a magnifier, like you would do with a magnifier. Oh my gosh. In a similar way to the sonar of dolphins and whales, the majority operated from their heart space, honoring one another and nature. So much so that when their civilization came to an end through a cataclysmic event, most likely the plates of the earth shifting, causing volcanic eruptions and a tsunami, most of them ascended. Their bodies either turned to light or they left their bodies. It is said that these highly attuned beings knew that their civilization would end and decided to send healing waves into another part of the world for future civilizations to benefit from. They telepathically channeled their frequencies into a thought form that would become crystals that would be found thousands, possibly millions of years later. These Lemurian seeds are a type of quartz crystal. I know, the synchronicities in this pile were off the charts. These Lemurian seeds are a type of quartz crystal, mostly found in Brazil and Colombia. They are powerful crystals with striations similar to barcodes engraved on their faces. They have a feminine receptive energy that is said to help us step into a more feminine way of being in order to help the evolution of the species. Your message: you are a highly sensitive being. You might feel that this is a curse, but this card is here to let you know that this is a gift. It indicates that you have spent lifetimes upon lifetimes living with a giant shield up to stop the world from seeing the real you, but you're a highly unique soul with incredible gifts that are worth sharing. Through embracing your uniqueness, you can help many others embrace their own. This lifetime is a more graceful existence. This lifetime is a more graceful existence with less defense and more trust. It's not about protecting yourself, but stepping into the space of surrender and revealing your true self. Well, I would still say you should protect yourselves. But yeah, definitely it's about remembering who you are, stepping into your gifts more confidently, not giving up just because some third party forces are trying to deter you from your path. And excuse me for all the times my voice kind of goes out or goes very like nasal. That's because I'm still a little, my nose is still a little congested from the flu I was recovering from. I don't know what I got, to be honest with you, but we're still healing, but I'm already much better. Anyway, so these were all the messages I had for your group 4. I truly hope you resonated. If you want to find out what past lives you've had as a Lemurian, you can go to the extended portion of this reading underneath the timestamp of your group. All of my extended readings are usually priced very symbolically, so almost anyone can enjoy them. And in those extended readings, I will focus on your past lives, why are you connected to these Lemurians, why do they want to speak to you, etc., and any other soul message that comes through. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for putting up with the disturbances. But if you push through the first part of this reading where things were kind of slow and then things cut off and I was explaining so much, thank you, first of all, for your patience, and second of all, you won because this reading had such cool, interesting messages. I loved it. And it's almost like you had to dig deeper and deeper until you reach the gold and the diamonds, you know. So thank you really for being here. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to support my channel. Comment what resonated, what did not, your whole experience with the reading. I am so curious to hear, and I hope I'll see you in my next pick card, where hopefully we don't have such disturbances again. Until then, bye, group 4.